Alright, we're back with another magic review. This time we're stepping away from downloads and kits and we're going to a book.
This book is everything we know about writing stage shows and everything we know about writing magic tricks contained in one place.
It's methods, it's essays, it's thoughts, it's scripts, it's annotations, it's pictures. There's a video that goes with it. There's absolutely everything for you to learn from. Everything that we've done. For you. For you.
This is Parlour Tricks by Morgan & West. I gotta say, a handful of incredible things about this book. Let's get one thing really clear. One thing I could not afford growing up were magic books. Magic books are way too expensive for a teenager to buy on their own, let alone if they grow up with not a lot of money. So it's hard to know when you buy a book if you're going to get your bang for your buck. There's going to be a little bit of a trend with a lot of my beginning reviews, and the trend is going to be I'm only going to really review things that I can gush about. I want to put out stuff, I want to put out recommendations for people and what I like. And what I really, really like is the structure of Parlour Tricks. So when you buy a magic book, you don't really know if you're going to get a lot of tricks that really resonate with you. You don't know if you're going to get a lot of things that you're going to use. Well, one thing very special about this book is that everything can be used. And what I mean by that is Parlour Tricks is less a magic book and more essays and theory. Morgan & West's goal wasn't necessarily to teach tricks. It was to teach how to put on a show. And there's a lot of elements that go along with putting on a show. There's structure, there's stage picture, there's rhythm, there's all these different elements that they sort of touch on. But one thing they really touch on is the importance of all of it together as theater. And the tricks are more so a mode of communicating how to put on a show. We put this trick here because. We did this trick after because this. We made this out of a card trick because we didn't want to do another card trick. The magic effect stretches beyond cards. All those different reasons. So even if you're not intending to learn every one of the tricks, you're still going to look at the tricks because they fit in a structure and a rhythm and a poetic arrangement in the larger scheme of a show. So with all that, this being my first magic book, along with scripting magic and 13 Steps to Mentalism, this book was perfect for pulling me out of the theater world and into the magic world while also retaining everything that I've learned in theater. This book has convinced me that I didn't actually drop magic out of high school because I continued with theater and I continued with performance, and this shows me how all of that is applicable. Now it sucks because with all of my artistic philosophy, with all of my artistic views, when I apply them to magic, people tell me how much I benefit from this. They tell me how much it benefits me to have my theater background and implementing it into magic. And this book fully teaches you how to do all of that. It teaches you the importance of theater and the importance of magic and the importance of them needing to be combined in order to make it engaging. Now, I am biased, and I'm talking a lot about theater, and I'm talking a lot about how theater applies to magic, and that's very much what Parlour Tricks is about. It's about applying theater to magic, and if you don't know a lot about theater, it's teaching you about theater. Let's get into some more touches that I love within the book. First of all, the book is beautiful. I mean, everyone is talking about how beautiful it is. It's the first thing you see. You're proud to have it on your bookshelf. It looks like one of those books you buy from Barnes & Noble, like the classic edition of Peter Pan, reprinted and hardcover, just like that. And it's truly, truly beautiful to look at. It feels good. It feels sturdy. It feels like a magic book. Like it feels like an actual spell book. and you open it up, and it's been said before, the first thing you see is a set. This is important because this goes hand in hand with their philosophy of the show starts the moment the audience sits down. They're very much sticking to their philosophy with this first page right here. Oh yeah, and the little ribbon, the little bookmark ribbon. But you can see I have this book highlighted. This is a book I have studied. This is a book that I love. I will just flip through, and if I'm stuck on something, I'll go to an essay, and I'll find some things that have stuck out to me. And you will see that most of my highlights aren't necessarily within the tricks. It's all within the essays. And I'll be sharing a few of my favorite highlights, but for this being my first magic book, you can see I was really, really, really excited. And I was picking out a couple things. This book has footnotes. To make my highlights more colorful, this book included footnotes, which, again, this is my first magic book. I thought this was a standard thing. This isn't a standard thing, but I wish it was. The footnotes are perfect. They explain little nuances in the tricks, in the scripts. They include things and explanations of, like, we had this idea because this, and if you think this is weird, it's because we had this, and this happened, and this worked better. Those are what the footnotes are there for. It's sort of like little asides. Instead of putting parentheses right after things, they just annotated it, put it at the bottom, and I was excited to read footnotes. I was like, oh, this page has footnotes. There's like an extra little hidden detail for me to know about. I really, 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 really liked that. Also, it's just mentioned that sometimes the footnotes could be quite comedic. More often than not, when I was reading this book, especially the footnotes, I was very clearly hearing Morgan and West's voices throughout. And not only with the incredible footnotes and the beautiful photos and the perfect paper. The paper stock is incredible. It feels sturdy. It feels somewhere between like construction paper. It feels sort of like construction paper, but like elegant. But including all of this, they give you their full show. Heck, I don't even think you need to buy the book anymore to see the show. The reason why that's so important is because other than Darren Brown, you don't really get a reference point for what a good theatrical magic show would look like. Now, you can say, oh, you got to make it yourself. Oh, that's the fun. Oh, that's the adventure. Oh, you're not a good artist. Like, that's not what it's about. If you love magic and you're new, you do need to gather information. You do need things where you can say, oh, I like that. I don't like how they did this, but I like how they did that. And that's these guys. Let's go over to these guys. Oh, I like this and I like that. Okay, cool, cool, cool. You don't get that in magic. You just don't. You don't get a lot of recorded shows. This gives you a recorded show. And not only does it give you a recorded show, they updated it from when they first released the book, and they actually added commentary. This is something I've watched numerous times. I've watched the show 3 times, but I've watched the commentary probably 5 times. It's another one of those things that I put on in the background. And when I think about my ideas for a show that I'm working on, I put this on. I like to hear their justifications. I like to hear their motivations. I like to hear the history. I like to hear little quips that they have to say. It means a lot. And it's very helpful for a starting out artist to take what they like, take what they don't like. Along with Darren Brown, there is Morgan and West. I can't think of a lot of other artists out there who have recorded stuff. You can find stuff on Magic Castle, but there's not the same sort of feel. Anyway, with everything provided, the perfect book with perfect little touches and care to detail, with the provided 2 downloads between the show and the show with its commentary, this is how a book should be made in 2020. This is the gold standard for a magic book. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say I'm going to take a big old leap here. I'm going to say this is top 3 best magic books Vanishing Ink has ever released. I haven't even read all of Vanishing Ink's books. I've only read like 4 Vanishing Ink books. But I can tell you, out of all the other books I've read from other publishers, this is class. This is the gold standard. This is beautiful. This is care. This is love. This is theater. It's art. It treats magic with respect, and it treats magic with dignity. Now, along with the review, I really want to share some of the things that stood out for me. I have a whole bunch of notes, and I have to cherry pick which ones I love the most because I don't want to give you the whole book, but I have little bits that I really cared about. And this comes from their essay on humility and vulnerability in the performance of magic. They specifically say something that comes right out of a technique, an acting technique that I love and that I use all the time, and actually something I'm learning how to apply to magic and to performance magic. And what they say, and I'm going to read it, performance is about connecting with your audience, and magic is no exception. It's about giving your audience a reason to feel something, be it shock or awe or amusement or sorrow. And that reminds me of something that has nothing to do with magic and everything to do with stand-up comedy, a completely different art. And with that being said, I'm going to show you that video and leave you off here. Thanks for watching.
You know, if you're an artist who has a chance to say something that might actually connect with people or help people, and you don't take that chance, what good are you?